My name is Karen Braitmayer, and I'm an architect. My husband and I both grew up in houses of this vintage, and I think struggle a little bit with thinking, oh gosh, are we trying to replicate our parents' lives? But I think both really like that open plan, and then honestly, it works great if you're a person who uses a wheelchair, because we have very few doorways, we have tons of open space, so it was kind of a win-win, right? We really like the style, and it really functions well. So Carol came over to bake cookies and hang out and kind of stuff. And Carol was the architect who came up with the vision for our house.
Karen is an amazing architect and talented in her own right. And I think she's so articulate and able to visualize things and explain things to people who can't visualize things, which makes it so wonderful to work together because we share a common language anyway, but it's almost like we're reading each other's minds as we're just sort of playful through the process, which makes it so much fun.
So this is our living room, and when we remodeled the house, one of our goals was to maintain the good characteristics about the house that we had loved in the original state, but the living room was just huge and not really conducive to gathering and having conversations. So one of the things we did in our remodel really was to try to make the living room a little bit more cozy. It's where we entertain quietly. We might have a cup of tea or coffee with a friend. It's where I like to sit and read or knit. It's kind of our quiet space. And of course we have this, we have books, and books are really important to our family, and so being able to bring those as a focal point to the living room was a big deal. And then I think another thing that's really great about this house is sort of the expansive view and the large open windows. We have such amazing light, and our house feels twice as big because we have this wonderful expansive view out over the neighborhood. The living room was significantly wider, and about right here, there was a huge, what we used to call the heater room, but it had all of the, heating and ventilation equipment in it. There's this big block right in the middle of the house.
So before there was an imbalance in spaces, some rooms too big, some rooms too small, and now everything's balanced. And part of that is the beautiful view, adds to the visual square footage of the house. And also, the paint color and offsetting against the usually overcast skies makes it feel brighter. So it really is it's open concept living.
So this is my kitchen, and of course, I love it. I think the first thing that you'll see that's different about our kitchen is that we have multiple counter heights. Then, of course, we have knee clearance at the sink, which allows you to roll in, kind of belly up to the sink and reach to work. And this is just fabulous. The cooktop is set at sort of an intermediate height, higher than the sink, lower than the counter over there. We have side controls on the cooktop so that you don't ever have to reach across a hot burner. But then, of course, one of my most favorite is the lower counter island, which is the perfect height for chopping and preparing, and right here next to the cooktop, so it's really easy to have something on the stove and be doing your prep and working that way. This is where we, as a family, we eat our meals. We all kind of congregate around here. My husband does his business paperwork here, and sometimes my daughter is doing homework here or at the dining table. I mean, we're here in this room and typically right around this island a lot of the day. So one of the other things that we added to the kitchen is a side opening wall oven, and so obviously, the door opens like a microwave from the side, But one of the great things about it is that it has has the ability for the pans to roll out, so you can then take a hot pan from here, and I made sure there was a surface next door that would accept a hot pan, like the stainless steel side drainer, and then that means that I never have to lean down into a traditional oven, or worse yet, reach up and then have to move around with a hot pan in my lap. So there are a couple of other tricky things that we did that are really more cabinet related, but that are really driven by my height and my reach. So come on over here.
We need a way that we can use a mixer without having Dave to have to get it down from a high cabinet.
Great little roll-out cabinet to keep my mixer. I love my mixer and I love using it, but this sucker is really heavy. And so putting it on a counter where I would have to move it wasn't really a good idea. So we came up with this really fun idea of putting it in what's basically a giant drawer, and then having a door, so it's all gone. But then when I want to use it, I have like this whole extra counter. It's perfectly sized for me.
So this was our own solution to that. So part of it was that you were able to articulate that that's what you needed, and then I could bring the knowledge of, oh, well, we're in custom cabinets anyway, so we can make the doors do like this, and we can roll this out and work with the cabinet maker to come up with the hardware that allows it to lock in place.
And you're probably going to tell me I was only supposed to put part of that in, but...
Right, but you know, you got the fancy mixer, so it
Leaning
compensates.
over my shoulder, I need to be perfect.
Oh, more grace, more grace.
Sorry, that's a one-take wonder right there. We bake like we design, right? We keep it real.
Right.
We were colleagues first.
Yeah, office mates.
We
for a
shared
while.
office space, and then she became my client, and we're still friends. Isn't that great?
Isn't that amazing? We're here and around all the time, and we're around each other, and I think that's really nice, and especially as your kids are growing up, to get a chance to be around each other a lot. And it makes meal preparation or folding the laundry or whatever household chores you're doing a more communal effort. So I know we love the island and we spend a lot of time eating around it. And it may seem redundant to have our dining table so close, but we entertain so much that we actually find this is incredibly functional. And the great thing about this house is that we can have those kinds of parties where everybody hangs out in the dining room, the living room, and the kitchen. They all feel like they're together. You know, we have friends that some of our friends come with mobility devices and some of our friends don't. And I love being able to welcome people into our house no matter what. And people just help themselves and are comfortable working in our kitchen. So that's what tells me that we don't have an accessible kitchen and nobody would want to use it. Everybody's in the kitchen and they're all cooking and doing stuff. So obviously we got something right there.
We had the house open for tour once, and everybody that came through remarked that it felt like the most livable house that they'd toured that day. And I think part of that is that there's a warmth here. It's not a sterile modern. You know, we have things, we have places where things go. So it's clean, but it's organized, and that's very intentional, right? And so when that's well done as part of design, you may not realize how it got to be that way, but you have a sense that things work well.
Oh, cookies.
Cookies!
I want cookies.
You want a cookie? Good. Here, have a cookie. So I can't imagine that I can't imagine that I would have worked with anybody else. So it's been so great.